Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the webinar today on From Paper to Productivity, Empowering HR Leaders to Drive Employee Productivity from Day One, streamlining the employee journey with productivity starting on day one through hassle-free onboarding and offboarding. I am Ajit Dive from UBS Forums, your host for the day, along with our speakers, Mr. Krishna and Deepak Raghavan from SymphonyAI Summit are delighted to have each one of you join us today. First of all, thank you very much everyone for sparing your time and joining us today. So before we start, a few guidelines I would like to make you people aware of. This webinar is happening on Teams platform, so your names will be visible in the attendee list. And also this session would be recorded. Hope you would be fine with the same. We will take your questions during the Q&A session. Meanwhile, if you have any queries, please use hand raise option or you can post the same in chat box. In Q&A session, we will give you access to unmute yourself and ask the question directly to our speakers. So to give you a brief background about today's webinar, employee onboarding and offboarding experiences are critical to an organization's success in the fast-paced workplace of today. HR teams may find it difficult to navigate the complexities of the varied IT landscape, which is why we are here to talk about practical solutions that guarantee efficiency and compliances. Did you know that bad onboarding experience can negatively affect productivity, retention, and even the reputation of your employer? It is an important issue that needs consideration and creative fixes. Symphony AI Summit steps in at this point. Symphony AI Summit offers zero-day productivity with hassle-free onboarding and offboarding, saving not only hundreds of work hours but also enhancing the overall employee experience. Today, we will delve into how Summit helps streamline process, making life easier for IT and HR teams. But before we proceed, a quick poll we would like to drive to get your responses. So we have a poll coming in. Yep, it's on your screen. I request all of you to please submit your responses. How important it is for new hires to have access to essential tools and support on day one for overall productivity. I request all the participants to submit your responses. Let me share the responses as well. So 72% people are saying extremely important and 28% of people are saying it's very important. So let's move ahead. Thank you very much for the responses. So throughout the webinar, we encourage your participation. Feel free to ask the questions in the chat box and we'll have dedicated Q&A session towards the end. Together, we can leverage Symphony Summits to improve employee experience and streamline your onboarding and offboarding procedures. So let's get started and I'll hand the virtual mic over to Mr. Aishwarya Krishna from Symphony AI Summit to take this forward.
Thanks, Ajit. Thanks for the introduction. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Aishwarya Krishna, and I'm a strategic sales manager from SymphonyAI Summit. And today we will discuss about how you can ditch day one and unlock instant employee productivity. So let me share my screen and please let us know if it's visible.
Yep, it's visible.
Thank you for the confirmation. Thanks, team. Today we'll talk about how Summit automation platform can help you unlock the day one productivity by ensuring your employees have access to all the necessary tools on the day one for them to start their work. And we have a very clean break on the last working day as well. Before I talk more about that particular solution, I would want to introduce you the Symphony AI as a company, who we are and what we do. So about Symphony AI, our vision is to transform the enterprises across the world with AI. And for that, we are building the enterprise class AI solutions across the world. Today, we work with 2000 plus enterprise customers across the globe, and we have 3000 employees around the different countries serving those particular employees. And we have headquartered in Palo Alto, California. We have some verticalized solutions as well. And today we will talk about the IT and enterprise service management solution, which is horizontal. And we'll very specifically focus on the HR service delivery part, on that too, on the employee onboarding and offboarding. Going on ahead, talking about the Summit IT and service management platform. These are the three verticals on which we have built the platform, and these three will be the key takeaways for you as well when you go ahead and see, use, and advocate our platform as well. The first is, how do we help you simplify the work? And this is simplifying the work not only for your employees, but also for your HR operations people, HRIT, and the other respective people as well. Second is, how do we help you increase the productivity, velocity, and collaboration, ensuring that you get the full productivity unlocks from the day one itself? And the last and not the least, all by ensuring that you are able to give a very delightful user experience to all your new onboarding hires. These are some of the awards and recognitions we have got over the last 11 years of our journey. We're in the Gartner Peer Insights, where the existing customers come and read about their experience. We have got the Customer Choice Award 5 years in a row. Similarly, in India, we have got the CIO Choice Award 5 years in a row for enterprise service management. From ISG Provider Lens, we are also the leader for the enterprise service management, and many more that we have got. And we work with like diverse base of customer across the world, where you will see a lot of the larger enterprises with many thousand employees spread across the different geographies and locations using our platform. This is the overall platform portfolio that we offer. We start with, of course, we have started our journey as a company with IT service management, where you had the incident, service request, service fulfillment, problem and change management. Then we also unlocked the enterprise service capabilities, where the first use cases we started implementing was the HR case management and HR service delivery. Facilities, finance, and others were also onboarded. Then we also have a solution on the enterprise asset management. And the fourth, the platform, which is going to be the topic of the discussion for the day, is service automation, where we have an agentless architecture, and we will talk about what are the different use cases we have built, and specifically for the HR leaders like you, how can you leverage the service automation part in your today's world. We also have a lot of use cases around generative AI Copilot. We will be happy to discuss if anyone has any specific questions around it. So before I go ahead, one thing we wanted to tell you is, even from last 11 years of our journey, we have seen earlier the service delivery or service management was primary responsibility of IT as a function. Then suddenly, of course, with the digital transformation coming in, a lot of people wanted to realize, okay, the other functions should also be servicing the employees in a similar manner. The major challenges which we saw when it was happening was adoption. The IT team definitely have all the necessary processes, all the necessary talents also for managing these kind of applications which have been there for last 10, 15 years, which requires very coding and other IT skills itself, which was not a core job of, let's say, HR function. So therefore, all our focus has been, and we will talk about how you can manage and unlock the productivity of these tools without relying to IT or any other vendor in the backend, how you can have the full control of all these devices and platforms that you're going to use. So we'll talk about streamlining employee journey with D1 productivity solutions. But before we go ahead, we also have a small poll for you. Ajit, kindly confirm if you are able to see the poll.
Ajit, could you pose the poll question, please?
Yep, just a moment. It's there on your screen. I request everyone to submit your responses. Meanwhile, we have a question for you, sir.
Yes,
So are your solutions are similar to another onboarding and offboarding solutions?
that's a good question. So our solution, we are not offering an onboarding and offboarding solution, but what we are offering is a productivity suite, which powers all the different applications that you will have in your organizations, which includes any HRMS solutions, which will have onboarding and offboarding.
Okay. You can see the responses. Request all the participants to just submit your responses.
Yeah.
We'll wait for a few more seconds. I hope you can see the results, Mr. Aishwarya.
Yes.
Yep.
Excellent. So I can see most of the people have voted for all of the above, and it is followed by lack of automation across different departments and the manual task, which creates bottlenecks. This is very important, and we will definitely try to address this. The second important task which we see people voting is difficulty integrating with different business systems. Very importantly, because today's the enterprises are on a hybrid mode. You have certain applications which are deployed in your environment, certain SaaS applications, and in an average, any organization will use definitely more than 45 to 50 applications, which are used across the different verticals like collaborations, HRMS, EDs, and multiple other applications. And it is, of course, a difficult task to integrating with all of these. And we'll talk about how do we cater to it specifically. The next important part was ask us delay in provisioning tools and equipments. Is it the exact comments that we have also received from our customers is typically in a very large setup as you guys, people, when a new joinee comes in, they keep on asking about to their project managers or their buddies who are assigned, what are the different tools I need for this particular project to get started? And there are many tools, then they have different applications or modes to reach out and request for those tools. Some of them needs to fill out of forms on email, or maybe create different tickets in different multiple divisions, keep on following up. And typically 2 to 3 weeks is taken for them to ensure that all the necessary tools are there for him to start their journey. This is the observation that we have also seen, and we have discussed with a lot of customers. And we will talk about how do we ensure that there is no such hassle going forward, and all the employees are getting everything required for their work on the day one, and you are also able to give a very good experience to them as well. So with this, I will share my screen again. Is it visible? Ajit, can you confirm?
Yes.
Yeah, it's visible.
Excellent. So going on, we read a very interesting book by Mr. Vineet Nair. Earlier, most of the organization used to say customers first, divisions second, employees third. But what he's mentioned was it should be employees first, customer second. No digital transformation is complete unless it's driven inside out. That's a statement he made, and we can all relate to it. Right now, we have all now understood if you want your customers to have certain kind of experiences with your brand, you need to ensure that you're also giving the same kind of experience to your employees so they can translate and reciprocate to your customers as well. So any digital transformation engagements which is happening in organizations, unless it's driven employee first and it's driving a lot of automations inside, it may not be able to give that kind of fruits while we are looking at, let's say, top line or bottom line improvements. At the same time, it's very important to keep the employees also happy. And we have seen from our internal polls that happy employees stay back 2x more than unhappy ones. And good amount of employees have rated about their experience with their enterprises in regards to their day-to-day work, which is interacting for or requesting for multiple applications during their journey with the employer and at the end as well. This is how a typical employee journey looks like when he's coming to an organizations where there are welcome emails coming in and manager assignment happens, work location assignment happens, seat assignment happens, and then the productivity things starts happening on let's say laptop assignment or end user devices assignment, software installation to those laptops depending on his designation, create location, briefing tools that he's there, assigning different buddies to him, any inquiries or requests that he can have for this transportation request, or let's say vehicle pass creation, key pass creation, all of this, any PF transfer request he needs to create or initiate to a different team, insurance he needs to create, where there are a lot of repetitive data points that he needs to keep on sharing with different teams in a full journey. And we'll talk about how do we improve all of the steps. And even today, all these are happening. Then what is the need for an automation tool? The requirement, which Ajit also summarized during the initial time, is HR teams today are struggling to navigate the intricacies of onboarding and offboarding, especially in a world with a diverse IT landscape and portfolio. And you need to rely on multiple different teams in the back end also. And of course, the poor employee onboarding experience negatively impact the employee retention, productivity, and the employer's reputation as well. At the same point of time, a lot of these new hires are struggling, not able to understand what to do, how to do, while their peers are working and they are feeling unproductive as well. So these are the 5 signs you can look at when you see whether you need an automation tool or not. The first is, do you have a lot of unstructured, manual, and time-consuming tasks and processes during onboarding? Second is, are you not able to justify the productivity of the employee on the first month or the first quarter that he's joining? Third is, are there also multiple non-compliances also happening because of lack of automation or audit process in the backend? And all the organizations today go ahead and check their CSAT scores. So do you see a declining employee satisfaction, especially for the new onboarding and new hires, which is coming in? And finally, are these also creating bottlenecks for your business growth when you look at the employees not being ready to perform their respective tasks? If these are the 5 signs that you're looking, then definitely we see that there's a requirement for an automation tool. So this is where Summit and the Summit orchestration platform comes in, where we have created a particular solution for D1 productivity for hassle-free onboarding and offboarding solutions. And we have seen with the live customer demos and implementations that up to 65% of the automation service request and task can be automated and fulfilled without any human intervention in the backend. So that is what we are seeing as a value additions, and it saves you a lot of uh, FT hours and business hours on operating these services. At the same time, it also improves the employee experience by a huge factor. So what do we offer? What are the exact solution of the platform are we offering? So this is the overall service automation capabilities that we have, where there are 5 different features to it. The first is automated service request fulfillment. Of course, you will get a lot of service requests in different medias, but how do we fulfill it without any human intervention? These could be onboarding processes, accessing a particular shared folder, accessing a particular application in the backend. So how do we automate all of this? Then automation of service requests as well. This is creating your workflows and ensuring all the SOPs that you have are hard coded without any chance of any human errors or lack of compliances to that. So how do you create all your workflows and ensure the complete adherence? Third, very important is also incident remediation. It's not only about the request, but multiple times there are services which are down. So how do you ensure that all the services which are needed for that, how do we keep it up and running as well? And last is automated task execution, including, let's say, approval processes, dynamic or static, or allocation processes. All of these, how can you automate? So these are the 4 features that we offer. What are the key benefits out of all these features? The first, of course, is the improved employee experience. Then improve agent or the HR analyst in productivity as well, so that he's more creation or he's more working on the more complex and L2 kind of queries, not on the repetitive queries. Then improving of service delivery as a function. How do you improve this HR service delivery? Speeding of your digital transformation by being an enabler. Measuring and growing value. So how do you measure on a day-to-day basis whether there is a complete adherence? How do you keep on measuring the CSAT scores and growing as well? Enhancing the SLAs. There are a lot of SLAs which are already there, many places, specifically in the GCC space or global captive space. You also work as one of the one of the service providers to your parent organizations across the world, and there are a lot of internal SLAs which are also bounded. So how do you enhance on that as well? Increasing the service agility, and finally, very important, endpoint compliances as well. So these are the benefits out of our platform. And in terms of the differentiators, you will also maybe thinking about that there are a lot of RPA tools or automation tools already out in the market. So how is Summit automation different than that? So the first thing which comes in is the open framework. So our framework is flexible to trigger automation capabilities with any other backend systems and multiple backend systems altogether. Script usability. A lot of the scripts are usable, and we have already created a lot of library of different workflows which is there. And real-time issue tracking and execution, which you can see and check from the front end. Not only that, one of the major differentiators between our platform and any other RPA tools out in the market is most of the RPA tools are very developer centric. So you do require a lot of coding skills to create that. Of course, they can tackle not just service delivery, they can tackle a lot of other issues as well, and they are adopted for the organization-wide challenges. But our tool is created for service delivery, keeping in mind the different requirements which are there, and there are a lot of ready-to-use templates which can be controlled directly from the front end. And tying it back to my point that you don't need to rely back to an IT team or an IT vendor itself to go and create those use cases. Complete environment will be there for you. You can drag and drop, use templates, measure and track everything from the front end with a very minimal amount of coding. So these are the major differentiators that we have. With this, I will hand it over to my colleague, Mr. Deepak Raghavan, who is a principal solution consultant. He will talk about how the exact process flow works and give you a live demonstrations of the product. Any questions so far, team? Okay, if not, Deepak, over to you.
Thank you, Aishwarya. Warm welcome to everybody once again. This is Deepak here. I do see Vikram raising your hand. So yeah, Vikram, you could post your questions on the chat. So we can take it from there. Or Ajit, is it that they can unmute and ask the question?
Yes, it is. How is your solution complement or differ from ServiceNow?
Okay, so when we talk about the solution from the ServiceNow, we are competitors to ServiceNow, very similar to what ServiceNow can provide offer. But yeah, we do have additional capabilities from the automation perspective, where we would be able to seamlessly integrate with multiple different systems and do the automation. And the beauty of our service automation is at the backend system, it doesn't have to be Summit. It can also sit on top of ServiceNow if required, or it can sit on top of any other competitor tools which we have in the market. So we do have those capabilities. Okay, said that, yeah, thank you, Vikram. Yeah, said that, let's move on with the onboarding and offboarding process flow and use case. So I'm just, Ashwin, if we just move forward with the next slide. So I'm just going to talk about briefly about the employee onboarding process flow, what we actually went to do that. And this is a sample thing, and we do have more use cases which we can do that. So just to give you an idea, our tool can integrate with any of your existing ERPs, HRMS system, could be SAP or Oracle, anything which is there in the market. We will be seamlessly able to integrate with that. And we can pull the data from your HRMS system and log the ticket. So what happens basically is, as an HR, you would initiate your onboarding process in one of your HRMS tool, and Summit can seamlessly integrate with that and pull those information and log a ticket internally and have multiple subtasks created to different departments. So how this helps is, with one single ticket, I can connect with multiple different teams. Could be my Active Directory team to creating their Active Directory ID, or my Exchange team to create an email ID, or have a task to my admin team to have the biometric access card creation, or to the asset admin team to provide or allocate an asset, could be a laptop or a desktop, or having certain softwares deployed in that particular machines, giving access to certain applications. So you can have a task associated to the application team. Right? So overall, there are multiple different touch points where we could have multiple different tasks created with one single request, right? So if you look into this specific example, where the HR team onboards the employee in the SAP AWS Lambda, where it will AWS Lambda would pull the data from your SAP system, basically the employee code, the other information about the employee, and create a SR in the Summit system, right? And what happens as soon as the SR request is raised on Summit system, our orchestration or the service automation will trigger for the onboarding process. So what it does, it would have multiple different tasks, subtasks created within the Summit application. So each of those tasks could be one of them to create their AD ID on the Active Directory and add that user to a necessary security group based on the designation or the grade in which he joins. Then have an O365 email ID created in the O365, Office O365, and also associate the necessary licenses, O365 licenses, and what are the necessary access he needs to be getting. And even if it requires a Lotus ID nodes creations, ID creation for Lotus nodes, and having those access to the respective Lotus node environment or the client systems, it will be able to automate and get that details for that particular user, right? Post which it can also have notifications triggered to the end users, could be via an SMS or an email, or you want the notification to be sent to their WhatsApp message as a WhatsApp message or a Microsoft Teams message. Yeah, we do have all those integration in place in which the users will be notified. So one single system where the HR initiates in their HRMS system, and rest everything is taken care from the Summit and from our automations perspective. Right. So if we can move forward to the next slide, Aishwarya, where we can also showcase how this basically the flow goes, right? So HR initiates the data in the SAP system, then the AWS Lambda pulls up the data, creates a ticket on Summit, creates an SR, and there are multiple work orders for different touch points, right? So how this again does this is basically the different bots which comes into the picture for each of those different tasks which needs to be performed, right? And our automation again can be completely automated, 100%, or could be hybrid model where a part of it can be a manual task and part of it can be an automated task. And there's also something called an assisted automation, wherein based on certain condition where the technician or analyst can initiate certain updates on the ticket where the automation can trigger it. So we do support all these three mechanisms. So if you could see here, we have multiple work orders, which is going to different teams. And these work orders, again, the beauty is these work orders can either go in sequence or in parallel. When I say sequence, you expect that once the ADID is created, only then it should be allowed to go ahead and create his email ID in O365. And once that is done, only then there should be a laptop or a desktop which has to be assigned to that particular user, right? Whereas in parallel, while the ADID is getting created in parallel, there can be a ticket which can be assigned to the admin team to give him a biometric access card. So there could be certain tasks which can go in parallel, certain tasks which can go in sequence. So we do have capabilities of. So providing this set of information from the onboarding actions, similarly, even for the offboarding also, So they can be in the HRMS system, the offboarding request can be raised, and there can be a ticket which can be logged automatically on the summit, and all the necessary offboarding can take place, taking from like asking that particular laptop or revoking that laptop or a desktop, whatever the asset which is assigned to them, removing the softwares or removing those access to the necessary application, or deactivating the AD/ID, removing the O365 licenses and disabling that particular user. So you could have multiple different offboarding access as a different task which can be performed using our automation. Saying this, I will share my screen and walk you through with a demo of this small presentation of what we spoke about, the same use case I'm going to demonstrate. If there are any questions, please do let me know. And if anyone of you can also confirm me if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, we
Yeah,
can.
Deepak, we can see the screen.
Okay. So what I'll do is for this particular use case demonstration, the only manual thing what I'm going to do is logging that ticket for onboarding request, right? Whereas in real time, you don't even have to log in, or nobody has to log into the tool to even log this ticket. It can be seamlessly integrated with any of the HRMS system and get that ticket logged. So I'm just going to log and a ticket, I think sample ticket here. So I'm going to just fill the necessary information. So what I will do is I will say demo UBS. So I'll give a location. Then I'll give some random employee code. And I will also assign a reporting manager for this user. And I would also want a software to be deployed on the machine which you would be allocated here. So what happens is in real time, we don't even have to log this ticket. These are the parameters. If I am expecting to, as part of my onboarding process, I will gonna fetch it from your HRMS system by integrating with that. And I would also have an SOPs based on the designation and grade of a user. I would want a certain kind of laptop or a desktop which needs to be allocated for the user. And also I'm having certain softwares deployed on that particular endpoint. Could be a laptop or a desktop, and also access to certain application. So in this case, what I'm going to do for this demo purpose, once the ticket is logged, I would gonna be giving that virtual machine as access to the particular user. And I'm also going to install a software called as Notepad++ into that particular virtual machine. So what I'm going to do is, even before submitting this ticket, I have three things to which showcase, basically to make sure that these are not already existing, because you also understand what is our automation capabilities and how what is the strengths of that, right? So this is my Active Directory account or the Active Directory server, where I can see if that particular user is created or not. So I'm just going to refresh this, where I can see all the active users in my Active Directory. So if I just scroll down here, I don't see any user which says demo UBS forum here under the alphabet D, if I look into it. Similarly, if I go to my O365, this is my O365 admin account, where I can see all the active users from the O365 perspective. So here, if I would select demo UBS, I should not be able to see any user here. So it says we don't find anything as of now. And there is a virtual machine. This is the virtual machine where I'm going to have that software deployed automatically. So if I refresh here under program features, I don't see a software which says Notepad++, right? So with this, I'm just going to go ahead and log a ticket, a service request, and let's see what happens after that, right? And the beauty of this is, if you are expecting certain approvals in place before this automation to be kicked in, yes, you could define your approvals, and these approvals you would be able to configure as per your needs. So we have those flexibility to define those approval workflows. It could be multi-level approval workflows. So it's up to you how you would want to define that. And if there are any approvals which are defined for that particular ticket, once all the necessary approvals are done, post which the automation will kick in to take it further, right? So this is the ticket, which is SR10179, which has been logged. So we do also have our automation dashboard. This is our automation dashboard, where I could also track the live feedback or live feed with respect to what automations are running. So if I enable this live feed, I could also see this 10179 particular ticket which is already logged, and there's an automation which is already kicked in. I could also click on this particular thing to see the workflows. What are the different things which are happening? I could also track it from here, how exactly my workflows are running for those particular scripts, which is there at the background, right? So it gives in flexibility for someone as an admin to always track what's happening with your automation. And if there are any issues or errors with respect to automation, how to take it forward. So we do also have capabilities whenever if any of the use case gets failed, then it can automatically get assigned to the respective team or who would be able to take it forward manually if required. Right. And also we could have an option to notify some stakeholders if there are any issues during the automation, if it fails or anything, you would be always able to track that, manage that much better. Right. Let's go back to the ticket. So let me open this ticket and we'll see what's happening with that particular ticket. Right. So I'll just go to my list page where I'm just going to open up the ticket which we just logged, that is 10179. So I have a tab called orchestration where I could see my scripts running, and I could also already see that my Active Directory account is already created. So here, if I go back to my AD here, refresh it here, I should be able to see a user called demo UBS forum created. So if you see here, there's a user called demo UBS forum, which is got created here. And if I go to member of, I could also see there is a security group, which has been associated for this particular user. And if I go to the attribute editor, I could also see certain other information like the complete name of what I had given while logging the ticket, or the employee ID, which we had given some random number. I could see that employee ID also. And I had also set up a manager information called Frederick Norton. So, and I can see that manager information is also added. So this user got created completely automated through our automation. Now, if I go back and refresh here, let me see if my other set of things are completed. And I could see that my O365 mailbox is also created. So if I go back to my O365 admin account and I search now, earlier when I searched with this name, I could not see any user, but now I could see a user got created called demo UBS forum. So if I click on this, I could also see an associated email ID for that particular demo user. And I could, if I go to the licenses, I could also see there is a license which is got allocated for this particular user called Microsoft 365 Business Basic, right? Now, if I refresh this ticket, I would also see the communication tab updated with this information where it says that successfully created AD user with display name as demo forum and the email ID which is associated to that, the employee ID, and the security group which was allocated to that. And I could also see that the software is also installed on that particular virtual machine. So if you see in the relationship, there are multiple tasks which is got created automatically. So one of those tasks is allocating a laptop for a particular user. For this demo, what we have done is we have auto-resolved this ticket through our automation, wherein in the solution, it has provided what is that laptop ID and what is the IP address associated with that laptop and the host name associated for this particular laptop. So what happens is this becomes the input to my next task. And the next task, what I have is the software installation, and software installation has to be done or performed on this particular machine. So since it's already completed the software installation, if I go to that virtual machine and I refresh here, so now I don't see any Notepad++. If I refresh here, you should be able to see the software which is installed, which says Notepad++. So let me just go ahead and refresh the ticket. It should also automatically resolve this ticket now. And you can see that the ticket is automatically resolved with all the information updated in the user communication. The beauty of the user communication is any updates added on the user communication, it automatically triggers an email to the requester of the ticket. So the requester of the ticket gets to know that all these tasks are completed. So if you look into this, the benefit what you're getting, right? So basically, if you take a normal manual process, if the same activity had to be performed manually, sometimes it might go from couple of days to week to be completed, whereas the same thing was completed in couple of minutes. But the use cases might not be so simple. There could be certain use cases which would be more complex where we would be able to do that. That's where we say day zero or day one productivity, wherein we can seamlessly integrate with multiple different systems to have those automation in place and do the complete automation. So we have the different system touch points where actually we are integrating with them to have this automation in place, right? And similarly, this is what I showcase from the onboarding process. Now, let us take this offboarding process. I'll take the same example. The user, what I have created, I can go ahead and offboard that user. So when I do that offboarding process, what it does is it will move that user from the active directory or the active list to the disabled user. Second is it will also remove that user from that security group. Then the O365 mail ID, what was created, that will be disabled, and the license which was allocated would get revoked. And the software which was installed on his machine, that particular software gets deallocated. So we would be able to do that process as an offboarding process also. So I would showcase that offboarding process. So I'm gonna just log a tickets for what for this. I just require that email ID which was created in the O365. I'm just putting that email ID and I'm gonna uninstall the software called as Notepad++. Now, once I submit this ticket, I would have this ticket created and further process would be initiated. So similarly, I can also go back again, track in my live feed where I should be able to see that particular ticket where the uninstallation of the software also gets initiated. Okay, so if I go ahead and open up this ticket from my system, so the use cases, what we discussed, it's not the same. As I stated, there could be many different use cases where you would like to automate, say, especially if it's a shared services or service-based industries, right? Where employees keep shifting from one project to another project as part of whenever they move to the new project. Even there also you have this onboarding process where they are required to have certain softwares needs to be installed or certain application access is required. So even in those cases also, we could have this automation in place where it can go out and automate all those tasks and they become productivity from day one. So, one of those use cases we have already been done for one of the biggest managed services industries where they are able to automate the all those project movements, onboarding of those users to the different projects from day one. They become effective for them, right? So again, here we also have those scripts getting running here. So I could see that the script started running, and if I go to my live feedback, I could also see that thing, the 10180 ticket which was logged. And I could also see here already my offboarding has started and it has already offboarded that user also. So if I go back to my Active Directory here, refresh this, I should see that that demo UBS forum is no longer available here. It's already moved from here. And if I go to my disabled users here, I should be able to see that user under the disabled users here. I see here that demo UBS forum is moved under disabled users. And if I go to member of, I would also see that security group is already revoked for that particular user. And it's already moved to disabled user. Similarly, if I go back to my O365 back here and refresh here, right? And I can see here that the user has become unlicensed. So which means that that license has been revoked from that particular user. If I go to the licenses, I don't see that license which is enabled for that particular user, right? Similarly, if let me refresh this ticket to see the current update of the ticket. And I can also go to the communication tab. I can see that it says that the user has been removed, successfully removed with the security groups, and that O365 license has been removed. All this has been completed. And if I go to the relationship, I can also see multiple tasks. All these tasks are automatically created. It is no manual intervention. Everything was automated. Now that software uninstallation is taking place. So once the software uninstallation is taken completed. If I go back to my system, the virtual machine where that software was installed, if I refresh back, I could see that that software is also uninstalled completely, right? So this is how the offboarding process can take place, where we can integrate with your HRMS system, where they can initiate the offboarding process and the ticket gets logged automatically, and all this task can be completely automated end to end, right? With this, I would ask Ajit to go with the next poll questions and open for Q&A.
Yep. Thank you, sir. Let me just launch the poll. Yep, so here's the final poll on your screen. I request participants to please share your feedback in this poll. And we are open for questions. If anyone have any question, please post the same in chat box, or you can use hand raise option and we'll allow you to unmute yourself and ask question directly. Any questions, please use hand raise option or post the same in chat box. And again, I request everyone to please submit your feedback. Yep, there is one question. How does Summit integrate with existing HR and IT systems?
Yeah, so we do have a good integration hub, which allows us to connect with any of the third-party systems or any other different applications or tools. If we want to connect, we would be able to do that using our integration hub. And we can also connect via REST API connectors or at the DB level. So we have multiple ways in which we can integrate with any of the existing HRMS systems or any other IT systems.
Okay. And can you share any information about the scalability and performance of your solutions for large organizations having various departments?
Yeah, this is a really good question. Yeah. So I'm getting a echo. If we can go on mute, Mr. talking. Yeah. So for large organization, basically, right? So how it can be more scalable and how you could leverage it better, right? So one is our workflow automation, right? Automation of any routine or repetitive task across your various departments of various departments can enhance efficiency and reduce the burden on the human resources. So our workflow automation could help you to remove all those mundane tasks and any human intervention wherever it's required. So all those can be removed with our automation, right? Next is integrating with your existing system. That is another key point, right? How seamlessly we would be able to integrate with your existing tools, with the different departments, ensuring more cohesive and interconnected infrastructure, right? So where we can seamlessly connect with different systems and provide solution. Then the user-friendly interfaces. That's another important thing, right? Intuitive interfaces or user-friendly automation tools, which we could facilitate for adopting across your diverse departments. So that's how we would be helping you with the scalability and performance for your large various different organizations and departments. Ajit, any other questions, Ajit? If you have any, if you can unmute yourself.
I think I was speaking on mute. There is one more question. What level of technical expertise is required to implement and manage your solutions?
For implementing and managing our solution, so implementation is something which we would help you out, but again, it's not any rocket science because all the configurations or changes to the existing configurations are at UI level, which is more of low code, no code kind of a solution. So you don't have to be really a technical expert to perform those activities. Anybody who just undergoes a simple training, what we provide, can go out and perform those activities, and whoever's having the necessary access, especially the admin access, can go out and tweak the existing configurations or make new configurations or create new forms, new workflows. You will be able to seamlessly do that. And the other part is from the automation side also. Since we are giving it as a platform, it allows you to seamlessly go out and build your own automation use cases wherever it's necessary. Again, it's a drag and drop. But from the automation perspective, it will require a bit of coding knowledge if you have to automate by yourself. So if anybody is good with Python, shell scripting, batch scripting, you would be able to create your own scripts and go out and do the automation.
Thank you, sir. We are still open for a few seconds if anyone wants to ask any question. I think there are no more questions. We can move ahead. So thank you, Mr. Deepak, and thank you, Mr. Aishwarya, for a wonderful session. And with this, I would like to thank all our participants who joined and be there till the end. Thank you very much. Still, if you have any questions, you can post that in the chat box. So you can share this with UBS Forums team, and we will connect you to the concerned person from SymphonyAI Summit. So whether you are an HR professional looking to simplify your processes, a hiring manager eager to improve the new hire experience, or simply someone who wants to learn more about the future of work, you are with SymphonyAI Summit, your partner to make a day one productive a best practice. So with this, thank you very much, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, have a great day. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think Vikram, deck will be shared with you. I could see a question from Vikram. Yes. We will be sharing you the deck with. And contact details too. We'll share our contact details.
Yeah, or if possible, Symphony's AI Summit team, if you could share a contact details in the chat box, if any participant would like to connect with you, they can get in touch with you directly.
Sure, definitely.
Yep, there's no idea or contact details in the chat box. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.